problems 10 through 13, we're asked to simplify each expression, and we're to assume that all variables are non-zero. In other words, a or b would not be equal to 0. So in order to simplify this, we're going to start by eliminating, well, first thing we do is recognize that every factor within this parentheses has an exponent, and if we don't see one, we assume number 1. So this in reality now becomes this. This is equal to negative 3 to the second power, a to the second power raised to the second power, and b to the third raised to the second power. Okay? So this has an exponent of 1. Alright, so this in turn is negative 3 times negative 3. This is, when you have these exponents, when you have a power raised to a power like you do right here, now that becomes a to the fourth, 2 times 2, a to the fourth. And here I have b to the third, that's a 3 by the way. The third raised to the second power, that becomes b to the sixth. So my final answer is going to be 9 a to the fourth, b to the sixth. Number 11, here I have c to the third, d squared, raised times c to the minus 2, d to the fourth. There is no exponent outside this parentheses. So we can now write, we can just dump the parentheses. So we're going to go c to the third times d to the second times c to the minus 2 times d to the fourth. Alright, so we're going to take and multiply c to the third times c to the minus 2. So when the bases are the same and multiplying, we add the exponents. So this is equal to c to the 3 plus negative 2. This becomes, now we go to the d's, and we have d squared times d to the fourth, so that becomes d to the 2 plus 4. So 3 plus negative 2 is 1, so we have c to the first, 2 plus 4 is 6, so we have d to the 6th. Final answer is c times d to the 6th. Okay, number 12. Here, we're basically going to break this up into smaller divisions. So I have, if you think of this, this has a multiplier of 1. So I have 5 over 1 times u over u squared times v to the 6th divided by v squared. So 5 divided by 1 is 5. Here I have u to the first divided by u squared, so I have u to the 1 minus 2. Here I have v to the 6 divided by v squared, so that's v to the 6 minus 2. So this is 5 u minus 1 v to the fourth. And finally, we're going to put this in the opposite part of the fraction so that the u now becomes a positive 1, u to the positive 1. So it's 5 v to the fourth over u. And finally 13. So here I have 10. And now we're going to use the quotient power rule. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 5 and 2 times 2. So this becomes 10 y to the 10th over x to the fourth. Alright? Now that could also be looked upon as 10 y to the 10th over x to the fourth. Because this in reality is just 10 over 1. And what do you do with fractions? You multiply the tops and you multiply the denominators.